nimekaa na huyo tukawa hatuwezi fanya sana. Some point we sort of split ways. I started staying on my own in Kenyatta Market. I got a loan for some equipment. I paid for a decent place. Sasa kuna stima, unahakisha stima. Huko nilikuwa natumia ile koroboi, unahakisha koroboi. So nimeng'ara kidogo. And then I had a place I opened in Kenyatta Market, which was also very weird because sometimes before I moved to Kenyatta Market, I was in Gando. I opened like a studio. I was doing some graphics and stuff I was trying to do. And I used to do a lot of sign writing. Because a taxi sign.
Yeah, not computerized.
Taxi sign. Sign writing, by the way, is one of the best ways of learning graphic design because you learn using of space. And ukiandika sign, ukiweka maandishi near the, inakaa tu awkward. Then giving the info that is very necessary. So sign writing is one of the
That was before Twitter and 140 characters.
Yeah. So yeah, that's before. So that's the life. Lakini mambo bado ni magumu because I'm mentally very disturbed. My father, the kind of tricks he's playing. Some say, me, I've got nothing to do. Why are you playing games with me? I know that's your style of bringing up your
Control,
people. Yeah. And remember again, I told you, sijui Kipsingi, sijafunzwa hiyo, sijui my culture really. I have to find out for myself.
You know, in a stage where you're asking yourself who you are.
Exactly. Me, I'm the kind of person, I never had a girlfriend in high school. I used to write for people letters. I got quite a bit of bread being paid in bread. Naandikia tu mabarua mpaka narudishwa sasa the return letter. Said, kwani did I write ile?
Ukuje wasomee.
Hakuna photocopy, sijui what did I write. No, I write for guys love letters. Me, I have no girlfriend and I'm the one who's telling them, in fact, let me write for you. So now I get a place in Kenyatta Market in the commercial building. It was very funny because it was like an apartment. Then they've rented out the rooms. One room was sewing. One room was a guy who was making TVs. Then there was me. There was a salon. Then when nilikuwa nikikosa fare ya kwenda Ngando, nilikuwa najifungia. You're not supposed to stay inside. So nilikuwa najifanya na snake mark najifungia ndani. Nalala huko. Mara mbili landlady amekuja usiku saa 4 amefungua. She has all the keys. She's opened. Anafungua na chokora people's premises ban. My heart is just beating. No, I don't know. She just opened this other side, unaangalia, unaongea, nafungua huko, nafungua. Then they said, na huyu ananga kitu, hao ni artist. And they had put the key in the lock. Angefungua nipate hapo ndani, I don't know. First, I am witness to them breaking and entering into their premises.
It would have gone
Secondly,
south.
I'm not meant to be there. So they would,
ungeitwa mwizi pengine or something.
Twice, yani unaishi maisha tu roho inapiga hivi. Unashanga, hii Usanii itatufikisha. Anyway, she finally got rid of me from there. I moved to Sunview Estate. The doctor rented out. The doctor was a gynecologist. And
you're still progressing now as a...
In art. Now I got some money. Now my dream was to buy a computer. I used computer from some people I knew. And then I was starting now. I'm learning, I'm reading, I'm practicing kidogo. And then I'm trying to do my own t-shirt stuff and things. I'm making designs.
T-shirts are the ones that are paying the bills.
From that time, I did for that guy for school. So mostly it's for schools, but I want to do my own designs, which again, there's no real outlet. It's a hard thing. Then
I remember that time the industry wasn't very developed.
I'm talking about 1994. Then now in Xhuuma, my former schoolmate in Primo, there he's alitoka Kisumu alikuja Nairobi, akili ikakuwa a bit Nairobi-nized. So there he was laughing at me, my backward ways, saying, but since you know many things, come into this thing of mine. So your dream is to do these productions and all this. Join me, I'm setting up this. So there we go, and he's writing songs, and here we are going to Philco. Those guys, bana nilitembea hiyo mchana mzima kuwatafuta. They never showed. One guy comes, one guy doesn't. One guy, and we've negotiated for
studio time
on credit, negotiated for session musician credit, everything, paka the master on credit. That came out of it. Then we were walking back. I remember as we were walking back, just opposite Bama Market, that guy stopped and asked me. He calls me, Mate, why do we need musicians? So we are writing the songs, we are writing the music. Me, I'll rap, you be the manager. And from that point on, that's how it became.
He started rapping.
So he started practicing right
Yeah.
there. And it was a very weird time.
So now your career as an artist. As
Now
a
me
music
I'm a
artist.
manager of nini, tumeenda ma studios, tumeenda
Songwriter.
sijui wapi, sijui tumeenda these media houses. Of course we're all being turned away. We did we made some demo tapes, and we did like I think 3 videos. His good song, his title track was about a guy who came back from US. And those days, if you came back from America, everybody wanted to go to US. And if you came back, you were treated with a very high standing. So all the girls were running to him, but then he had HIV. So he said infecting people with HIV, and then he died of HIV. It was actually very morbid. So everybody who had associated with him, all the girls, now it was, hey, Navianas, you've got an HIV. So it was a very morbid thing about people running wanamshikilia huyu mtu, and there were like 3 other songs. And we borrowed some camera here, we shoot behind the house, we borrow some things there, we go to somebody's dining room, we put jamaa amelala hapo, this is the funeral scene. We actually shot 3 videos, and he made I think 6 or 7 tracks. Now this is a funny thing, this is 1994, but we went to a studio. He did actually go to a studio in River Road. It was a digital studio. We made a digital recording in the underground studio in River Road. But by that time, nilikuwa nimetengana naye before. I can't work with this guy like this. Because me, I was telling him, let's do Swahili rap. He said Swahili doesn't do.
That was totally unheard of at that time.
I said, let's do. This is how we'll make it. And let's put African beats, because we were doing hip hop. There was a lot of adventures along the way there, because when I was working with him, and then I got kicked out of that house because the doctors went on strike. Now this doctor who's a gynecologist was the strike leader. When they went on strike, when they strike walirudi after about 2 months, there were only 3 doctors who were fired. He was one of them. So 6 in the morning, APs on the gate, knock knock with guns. Tokeni to the government quarters. So I'm thrown out with him by armed police. Okay. So he puts me up. So I go to his place in Gumu, which was a hard time to stay, because I'm an independent person and I have to stay with him because we are doing this thing with him. It was so hard. We could not really stay together. And then when we were staying with him, now I had a camera. My passion was also photography. So I bought a camera. I'm also teaching myself photography. So I go around taking pictures and all that. But it's expensive. You have to buy film, you have to develop. I have like 60, 70 rolls of film, negatives, not ile wanasema ijafanywa nini. I've not made.
It has never been developed.
Made into nini. No, it's developed. It's negatives. Sijatengeneza picha. I've never printed. Like 60, 70 rolls. I'm teaching myself, manual camera. I even left it in his house and I went to Shags once, and then it was stolen. So anyway, there I am. We did album covers and promotional shots. So I did album covers for him.
All this is self-taught.
All this is self-taught in 1994. Now nafanya hiyo, I remember we did 1 roll and the camera was it's used. He didn't roll the film, so I could take any. We went and repeated the whole thing, and we put 2 lights zetu hapa hivi, some atmospheric shots. It's hip hop, so jamaa nakaa ni kama maisha iko sijui aje. So we did that, and then people are coming to us knowing we are big producers. A lot of this artistry is bluff to it.
Fake it until you make it.
Because you're going to a production house. I mean, the technical guy. So it was him, another guy called Ricky. So then they walk in. Him is the star. He doesn't talk. He's a tall, jango guy, dark, good looking. Maich go talk. So mi ndio naongea hapo na jamaa. Who are you? We are poets. If they ask us, we say we are poets.
How do you transition from music to visual art?
It's part of it. So anyway, I'm still doing visual, basically, because I'm doing the cover design, I'm doing the photography. You see,
I know is Xhuuma.
Xhuuma took
I know
on
what he's up to.
he's there. He's practicing his painting and doing also some odd sign writings here. But now we're doing more painting. Then we move out of there. So I lost the place I was staying. Then I moved to another lady who said she was starting up. The best word is, okay, you can say a health center, which is a mild way of putting it. What what they were doing, she was setting up. I met her because we went to, all this time we were in crisis moment after moment. We went to, people first think we are drug dealers. There's when I'm standing outside some gate in Gumo, some cop nearly shoots me. Opposite was comptroller of State House was staying. So I'm holding my camera like this. And he cocked his gun, wants to shoot me because I'm taking pictures of a restricted person's residence. And one guy came and he actually jumped over the gate and stopped him. There were 2 police. And they came and took the camera, didn't have film. Because if you're standing at somebody's gate, you cannot be facing it. Utakuwa face the road. So I'm facing the other house. So this guy used to come and cop used to became friends. He came and used to bring for me guns and drugs from the evidence room. I know you need this in your business. Which business? See, you guys, your drug, which business?
Yeah.
In fact, so yeah, that side they thought I'm a forger. Yeah, they think I'm a gangster.
You're a gangster.
See, we are doing gangster raps, vitu gani. So how can I not be a gangster? Anyway, nikatoka hapo. There's a lady who was went to set up a health center. Is the best word in Westlands. I met her because during all these troubles,
or a massage club or something.
Not really massage club. There was massage, but there was different. Okay, there different health things. There was practices from different places, especially from in they call it, people call it New Age and all that kind of thing, where guys embrace Eastern medicine. From the Western people, they like to take in other things because some of their stuff is not working. So they embrace a lot of
Eastern
things
mysticism,
from Eastern,
yeah.
Buddhism, Tai Chi, yoga, different types of massages, different types of practices, you see. So this lady formed a center where all these people would come. Some are expatriates with that skills. Some actually practitioners. They come from abroad. They come for 2 months, 3 months. And so we book them in and we have rooms where this is practiced. And we also do...
So you're working with her now?
I was a caretaker. We were actually setting up the thing with her. Actually, just like this gallery where we're just starting up from the ground. So my life is a lot of things starting from zero.
Let's talk about the gallery. Gallery. How
So
did it start?
We started because in 2016, I became... we started a move for founding Canva, Kenya National Visual Artists Association. So this Canva was a body of visual artists. Visual art is everything, even video falls under video, architecture falls under visual, everything except performing arts, everything except theater, dance. Architecture is visual arts, sculpture is visual arts, interior design is visual arts. Even videography is part of visual arts. So we're forming a body to make people have unity and then to better ourselves.
There's none that exists or
there
existed
wasn't
before.
any before. What we have is galleries which are run by commercials, galleries run by individuals. And these individuals, they do things how they wish. So it's not anything to do with the artist. So the galleries operate how they would like to operate, not how the artist would like to operate.
Which can you elaborate? I've heard you've spoken before and you told me about the cartel.
So they have cartels. So when I was now in my journey of art, like remember I told you I'm being thrown out of these shops, curio shops, because it's also a cartel of so-called African art, where they have different kind of things, which they call curios, which comes from curiosities. That's what curios means, and they want things done in a certain way for particular market, and there are those who do it.
Na kuna gatekeepers na
Yes,
nini.
they control that. So you can't come in and start rocking the boat and doing a different kind of thing and marketing a different kind of thing. You can't come in and start bringing, oh, this is Kuria beads. No, we want Masai beads. Who cares about Kuria beads? You can't come in there and say, oh, this is, Wambere, wanatengeneza. Who cares about Wambere? You want Kamba sculptures. You see. So they have already defined it because it makes sense for them commercially to just have a few things and then expand on them. Anything else coming in, if they can't control it, they don't need it. You see? So I've been seeing that as we go along. And then, when now I came back, I went to Sharks, came back in 2004, I started going to the museum and I met a lot of artists. They were painting under the trees there, which is a tragedy because the National Museum, then you'll allow artists to come just paint under a tree. Well, they made something out of it, but it tells you you're almost like a by the way, you see. So from there, I met a lot of visual artists, basically mostly are painters. They're painters because I think the first art form of an African should be sculpture, 3D work of any form, clay, chukua mchanga kwa mtaro, umba kitu, scrap woods, chonga, because our art forms were things that are practical, utensils, calabashes, houses were decorated,
Yeah, you talked about
clothes,
such tools.
tools like this. We didn't have something like this that only exists for itself to hang somewhere. Everything from Africans
It would have some practical
had a
use.
purpose. It was jewelry, it was clothing, it was an ornament that stood for something. It was something carved. Oh, this is a burial stick. It shows this is a grave marker. This, every single thing Africans did had a reason. You did not have to cook a reason for that thing to exist. It was, if that thing didn't have a reason for existing, it just didn't exist. Our social system was already quite refined. We did not have, you don't have garbage. That's the best way. You don't have garbage in the name of art, which we have today, a lot of it. So anyway, there I meet these artists, and my idea was to do some kind of a publication and just talk about artists and stuff. But not again a publication in 204. How much money do you need? Mara, they say you need to have a bond of 1 million to do a publication. It's so expensive to print. Why a publication? Because remember, I've been doing graphic designing, I've been doing photography. So pictures and words, that's a publication. And I thought I'd venture into documentary and video. So I started learning, looking at these people, and also trying my own skills in photography. But a lot of things that happened in my life up to that point, my mind was also still, had never settled. Then I had a child, I had married, the marriage had gone another direction, but I had the child, I was bringing him up. Then I was actually remarried again at that time. So I was starting another family.
Oh, you got married, separated?
Yes, then in
Got married a
2004,
second.
now I was remarrying again. But I was bringing up a son who was at that time, I think 7 years. So I actually came back to Nairobi to bring him to school. And then, like I said, when we did the health thing with that lady, we went and we were helping to do what you call the branding. I actually made the logo. It was called Lighthouse. Did the logo, and then because of my avid interest of so many things, I was the caretaker. Me and my bro were caretakers. Plus, we were also on the reception before they hired people. So people would come, they ask about yoga, I'd tell them. Ask about Tai Chi, I'd tell them. Sometimes I have to learn it by going to read the books, which I loved it. You give me the book to read about Tai Chi so I can tell people so that we can book into our programs. Perfect for me. And many other Eastern mysticism and stuff. And next door, there was a bookshop also, which I used to frequent before. So I'd amounted a large knowledge of what you would call mysticism and spiritualism and different thoughts of people, which I'd also been reading about philosophies and stuff from my father's books. And then now, 204, 205, there I am. I start now wanting to come back. Now I'm staying in South Bay. And then I'm interacting with these people also at the go down. I go to the go down, I see different people doing different things.
Go down art center.
Yeah, go down art center, industrial area. And then I helped a lady called Miriam Kiambi. She was doing an exhibition, she was doing PR, doing some interviews and stuff like that. Because remember early on, like I told you about the music thing, we had actually gone to quite some media places and stuff. Of course, times now are a bit different. So I felt at home doing it. Tukiingia sasa hii mambo ya art, somehow in the go down, I realized this. I was not counted as an artist. Maybe they still don't count me because I'm doing graphic design. What's that? That's not art. Art is painting. Now, this is it in a nutshell. The Wazungus, who are the main controllers of the art in Kenya, create a mindset that certain things are art, certain things are commercial art, certain things are fine art, certain things are acceptable, certain things are on the fringe, certain things are don't even bother with it. It is for their benefit, works for them. Some of the reasons is if you do work that is sophisticated, the narrative they have, this narrative was pushed by this lady called Ruth Schaffner. She was doing Gallery Watatu. They called it, art from East Africa was called primitive art. Primitive, the name means what? It means it is not developed. Primitive means there is another stage above it. In fact, several stages. Because primitive, you get to umekaribia, sasa umefika. So you are at least 2 stages down. So she was the number one, number one purveyor of that,
like the
mindset.
Pioneer.
And she was going on, and she was the go-to expert. Now, you have to understand the mind, the white mind, the Mzungu mind. They must have a specialist. They must have an expert. Oh, you've lived in Africa 7 years, 2 years, 2 months, you're a specialist. In fact, you just declare you're a specialist. So they'll ask Kiama about life in down the road where you live on the BBC. Then they'll say, now, our specialist, Miss Johnson, you've lived in Karen. Tell us about it. They must get a white face to verify you. That is when they can absorb. And she can just repeat, as Mr. Kiama said, life down the Karinde is like this and like this. She's just paraphrasing you, but because it'll come from her mouth, then their mind can say, oh, now we see. So that's the white mind.
You're calling it primitive art, and they have loads of, they cutted away loads of
our so-called primitive art, which they can't even bring.
Yeah, some of it.
So in fact, even more primitive art than what they're calling primitive art, they have, which they cannot possibly never even want to bring. You see. So here, this is the art world.
So you get into the art world, and you find
I hear that, I see that
these guys who control the space.
They control, but they need to earn a living. Some of them, I know them from that time and from a little bit before. What are they going to do? They'll paint. They're paid thousands, 5, 6, 7, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 300,000 now, 400,000 down the line.
What is your contribution towards that?
I talk to them. I listen to them. I'm always been an outsider.
How are these galleries exploiting them before?
These people, first what happens is, because this lady has gone and said primitive art. She said primitive art because she has a whole backload of stuff or stock. So when she says primitive art, so they'll ask her, like which one? Oh, like this one's where? In my gallery, of course. So they're there. So she's selling stuff. So everybody has to come and uingie yo laini so that inauza. See, I'm a create market ya primitive art huko. Now, if you're doing your so-called sophisticated art, how is she going to sell it there? And then how are you going to sell to some of the white minds that there are black people in Africa who can actually hold a paintbrush better than you? How? That's you're killing a myth. The myth is these people are not sophisticated. So they're exploiting these artists by making them not realize what they're actually capable of doing. So a lot of those people have to tone themselves down. They don't do the actual work they are capable of doing, all they wish to do or want to do. Alafu ikakuja hiyo story ya like Banana, Ngesha areas, people do all this kind of style they have, people do stuff like they are pioneers in a lot of art, but then a lot of times they expect them to do the rural life, the African woman with 6 calabashes, 17 children, 5 dogs on a leash, sijui anafanya nini, and walking on a dusty path with the blazing sun and the heart in the distance. That kind of imagery. Or African dream, some grotesque figure warped like this, table here and an eye here, nose here, leg there, and weird colors.
How does Usanii Mashariki Gallery offer a different platform
what
for,
we do here
artists?
is when we did the association, we did an exhibition. Our association, of course, was to better ourselves, create a market for ourselves, and do the kind of work we feel we need to do, not just someone else's topic. Now, we did an exhibition. The exhibition was very good. Our lease here was
Where was
2
that?
months, 2019. And then we had issues with the management of Canva. Some of us in the management were actually working for the same brokers we were trying to break away from. So we continued the gallery under the name, I called it Usanii Mashariki. This time I was doing it myself and my brother. And we had 60 artists that time, and we now have 288 people have brought their work here.
You talked about brokers. Yes. How does the brokering work? The
brokering works because a lot of the artists are not engaged in the marketing of the work, not engaged in selling. A lot of people have been told specialize, just paint. In fact, hata usifikirie mambo ya pesa, itaharibu your creativity. Don't even think. It's like it will mess you up. So the artists are being told like that. And a lot of artists are buying that because a lot of people find it hard to put on different hats. Now I'm a creator, I'm doing this, I have put the heart of a creativity. Now tomorrow I'm a marketer, put on the heart of a marketer. It's not very easy to do. If somebody comes and offers to do it for you and even gives you a very good reason that ukianza kuhesabu mapesa, your creativity will suffer, definitely you'll give him all the leeway. So that's one place the brokers come in. The second place they come in is they set the price. They set the price, they set for you, they influence the price, they influence the subject matter, they influence even your style, because they probably have created a trend somewhere else. Now you are just supposed to feed that market, a market which you also do not have access to because it's probably a foreign market, or it is on the other side of town.
And you've told some people even sign, what are they called?
So what they do, now these galleries, which are commercial private galleries, they get an artist to sign an agreement with them. You will only supply exclusivity contracts. You will only supply your work to us. So they're either annual contracts or biannual contracts, generally annual. They'll come and take some of your work, sell it. Then you have a rapport with them. Then these people will come and tell you, now sign with us. Do not give any other broker, any other gallery. Do not exhibit anywhere else. Exclusive to me. Do not even do any other style. Just do like this and like this.
And even you've told me something about restraining orders, that they cannot even go close to that.
Sometimes some of them, when you sign, you do not even go to those galleries unless you are given a day to come. Because utakuja huko upatane na client ama uone kazi yako imewekwa 150k and you said 100k or 20k or 50k. Because what they'll tell you is, some of them will tell you like this, how much do you want? Oh, I need 30. You want 30? Okay, we'll bring for you 30 for this work. If they go put it there for 200k, of course you'll be pissed off. But say, but you wanted 30, so we're going to bring you your 30. You don't care what price you've put. The others, generally what it is, they take 50%. So if you want 30, they'll write 60. So they take 30, you take 30. So they take half the money, they didn't do half the work. So now you sign and you agree. They use different methods. They are friendly. I mean, the guys who have come and they brought clients or they've taken your work, they've sold it, they have shown you, how do you say, consistency. Every month, this person can sell one artwork of mine. Every 2 months, they've sold an artwork of mine. So there's trust. They create trust. So they lure these young people by false trust. And then a lot of these artists are very conscientious people. They use their conscience. They never want to go against something. By their very nature, a lot of artists have a conscience.
They exemplify what you talk about in this show, which is Utu.
Yes.
They have empathy.
They have that.
They are conscious.
So they, even by verbal, they say, okay, tumekubaliana na wewe. Before they even if they are to go and sell the work to someone else, they really feel it in their heart. Hey, I promise so and so. They really feel it. So a lot of them don't even need written contracts. They stick to their side of the bargain. But now this bargain is, first, there's no, how do you say, there's no retainer. There's no monthly salary. Yeah, you can call them up and say, oh, I'm broke, I need this, my auntie is ill, I need this. Oh, let's see tomorrow what we have. They send you 50K. But it's put on your tab. So next you produce a picture, they say, now this picture, nakumbuka ile 50, nakumbuka ile 20, nakumbuka ile 30, In fact, you need to bring us 4 pictures.
So you're entrapped now.
You are trapped. You can't,
Yeah. So how are you doing it differently?
Here, what we do, we sell on commission. Commission is 10% for things below 5,000 shillings. 20% anything above 5,000 shillings. Secondly, all artworks have the name, contact of the artist behind here, behind each of these pictures.
Yeah, I can see they have
the signature like
other
this.
galleries don't allow signatures.
Some, no, they all allow, but Masai Market, you take your work, you don't sign. Wale wako huko ndio wana sign. Masai Market people,
they own your work.
They own your work. So there are artists who are known in Europe and America, but they've never painted. You just bring unsigned work, they sign. Real brokers are there. And the subject matter is defined. So some people don't care because, ni ndovu tu nachora. Unachora tu ndovu na wapelekea. They give you a 25, they'll sell it for 15K or more, or whichever, and they'll sign it. Now here, we have the contacts on the back. If somebody comes in, likes this picture, this is by Gadoni. Gadoni, by the way, trained to be a lawyer, but she paints. Fully trained. So we tell them, check behind. If our address is not behind, I'll give it to you, her phone number and everything. So they can contact the artist directly. They don't have to go through us. Of course, by good faith, the artist, if they sell this artwork, or if the person buys, they'll tell them, no, you saw it in the gallery, so let the gallery take their commission. You see? So we expect that kind of behavior. So we don't hold the artist hostage. Neither do we keep the buyers, the consumers away from that. And also we don't give, how do I say? We don't try to constrain them on their subject matter. We guide them.
Their style.
Their style. I guide them away from generic styles. I get them away from common topics. Like if you look around here, you not see the most common, what we would call tourist art. Which by the way, a tourist came here and told me, you know what we call this art? We call it Afro crap.
Afro crap.
Yeah.
The one that is sold in the streets.
Yeah, he was telling his wife, yeah, let's get some Afro crap. So I asked him, what's that? He said, okay, that's what we call it. Afro crap. Just a common thing you see in Masai Market. So we steer people.
I think I see what that is, because you find it, even if you travel across Africa, in different cities, you'll find the same thing. The
same. So those are what they call curiosity, Afro crap. It's something generic, or you call it tourist art. It's a memento. Like if you went to Texas today and you came back with, I don't know, I'd ask you, ujaleta cowboy hat. So boots. Of course in Texas near the airport zinauzwa hapo. In case you didn't buy, you'll buy it even there on the, even as a guy will be walking selling them to the taxis there, because that's the essence of being in Texas. At least there was a cowboy hat. So this art, a lot of people make. That's just what it is. It's a memento to show I really went there. But now we want guys to do things culturally, heritage, like this one here for this guy, Dedan Kimathi. I do not think a tourist is going to come and buy a picture of Dedan Kimathi.
Yeah.
You see?
Mm.
So that's the difference. If you want to know what's the difference between tourist art and
For someone to buy a
Yeah.
painting of Dedan Kimathi, they have to have some
yes,
association
there is a
with
reason.
him, his story,
Yes.
that kind of thing.
And if it's a tourist, he's buying it because he's buying, okay, this is, I know this is a freedom struggle. He probably also has a picture of Nkrumah somewhere. We have a picture of some other person somewhere. So he knows what he's buying. You see, tourists are not coming to Kenya associating Kimathi with Kenya. Though, if it wasn't for Kimathi, then even that very Kenya they're coming
Most
to
probably,
would
if
not
it was
even
Jomo
exist.
Kenyatta, they would buy because the
They
stories
they would
read.
buy now Jomo Kenyatta. But you see, so that is the direction we're trying to get guys to go. And also trying to get people to do not think you must specialize only in painting, in this. It's a wide, it's like you're a cook. You can cook chips, you can cook pilau.
Yeah,
you
different
can cook
just recipes.
Yeah, because if you do that, you fall into the trap where someone, you're only painting Maasai pictures. You've painted yourself into a corner. And like I said, an African should have 3D sculpture. That is our kind of work. 3D work of any medium. But it's a Western concept of specialization. Where you say, me, I'm a painter, me, I'm a graphic, me, I'm a photographer. Me, I'm a photographer. I also make furniture. I'm also building right now.
Do you still make music?
So I will. I mean, we produced that stuff. And by the way, when what happened, the guys went to, by that time I had left, I was not working with him. When he went back to the studio to finalize his music, they said, oh, you know what? We've lost the tapes, but you can do it all over again free of charge. But when he's walking outside, he's hearing his beats.
Being beaten.
He's been sold on Luthuli Avenue.
To somebody.
All the current Q musicians of that day wameuza beat zake. You see? So I left it at that point.
How is he doing now?
He's never done music again.
Yeah.
He went abroad.
You know,
he's
we
never done
lose a lot of talent that way.
Yes. He went abroad, but he's never done music. I don't think he's done anything artistic. He's an excellent writer. A lot of people left at that time because of those issues we had.
Yeah, copyright. I remember issues of even patenting. You could not, and creativity was not
and
respected.
Also gatekeeping.
And gatekeeping.
Because
cartels and
what
that
killed us, what made me and him go asunder was another people. We actually took our tapes to some radio station. In fact, one station. Two, actually, it was KTN, and there was one station, there was a show, I'm trying to remember the name, that KBC, the English service, used to do in the mornings. And they used to play local music. And then KTN started something and they wanted to play some local music. And we actually took stuff to them, took our demo tape. And there were some gatekeepers. There are people who are right now in the industry and they really get kept. They really get kept that time. And they pushed us off. And then, funny enough, they even took our music. And now we had our beats being used by some guys who are upcoming from a certain side of town, because it became now us, we're on this side, south side of town and the east side of town. And these guys actually stole our music. They actually took our stuff, took to our rivals. Some of the guys who never turned up at Philco started forming their own two groups who are singing in clubs and things. They actually took our music. So our music was stolen twice or thrice.
So that's your experience is the one that then has led you to that cause of...
Perhaps. I never thought of it that
having
way.
to liberate
Perhaps.
The artists.
So I feel so strongly when I see that things being stage managed and then...
Because the creative space is, the intrinsic value of music, visual art, all this. There's no, like a set price. It's very easy to exploit that space, and especially when the art, as you said, artists are conscientious, they are empathetic, they are not in it for the money. Most of the time they're just expressing themselves.
It's true.
And then they are very easily exploited.
Yeah, and then remember also, this is a person, like I was just telling you a little bit about my early time. you've been knocked down by your own family. A lot of times you feel empathy. You see another person being knocked down by, because you've been knocked down where you feel these are the people who should stand by me. Now here we have fights with my father and all that, my mom, and but you see someone also going through some issue, some situation. That's why also I have empathy for them, even though they're going into these deals with these galleries. I know where they're coming from, because they have to make a choice. What can he do? And later on, you talk to them. I talked to them. I talked to one recently, and he told me, I can't name their names now because these are things that are going on, and these are legal contracts they got into. So, but he said when he came out of one of those contracts, he was in it for, I don't know, 6, 7, 10 years maybe. When he came out of it, the sense of liberation he felt. He has no ill feelings, because he said, well, those gallery, the lady, it was a lady owner. She built me up to where I reached. Perhaps I would be
much further,
but I'm here. He has no ill feelings, and he wouldn't allow ill feelings. So that's why I cannot even mention. He will not allow ill feelings. But he says the amount of pain and strain he went through as he compares today is, he says he just wonders, how was I even doing it?
And I think it's all part of growth. I mean, we're talking about, your troubled childhood, absentee father, but you're a family man. I mean, you have how many? Are you still married?
I am. I have 4 sons. Let me say this.
How many times have you been married?
Twice. I only ever wanted to be married once, unfortunately. Twice.
Unfortunately.
I had to. Unfortunately, I don't know. I'm not kind of. I never had a girlfriend in high school. Those kind of. I said, the person I'll meet, I like to settle down with them.
Mm-hmm. So the first one didn't work out.
It didn't work out.
How old is that child?
27. I brought him up. The mom left us when he was not even 3 years old. So
left you with the child?
Yeah, I left him with the child. Oh. Then her mother told her, Cukes never leave their child back, enda uchukue. So it became a fight. But I just held on to
but
the
he's
child.
In your life?
Yeah, I brought him up, and then I remarried, and the person I married brought him up, took him in.
So with your second wife, how many kids?
We have 3 kids, so we have a total of 4 sons.
You're father of sons.
I have 4 sons.
Are you ready with the dowry? Because you have to pay a lot of dowry for 4 sons.
Your dowry, sijui ndachora tu picha nipeane, niambe, dowry ndio hii. Picha. So I own a gallery, that's the most dowry. No, I have to be ready with that dowry. It's an experience, I can tell you. And but let me set this clear. Growing up, we lived an average life, economically. My mom was not wealthy. She tried to get what we could get. And there's a time when we were not paid electricity. We didn't have food in the house. When she was pregnant, and we had to get food from the neighbors. But generally, she tried her best. And we've always...
Is she still alive?
Yeah, she's very much alive. Though right now, there's an issue which we have. I'm very sorry to say, she got involved with this church, this world church, which is a mess. It's a real mess.
Yeah, I've heard stories about
it. Like I said, that is another hell story for another day.
We'll speak about that some other time.
She did her best under the circumstances. We did not have the gilded life that I see. I just used to see people used to take me in a funny way, thinking I live a gilded life, and they used to think I'm pretending. Because like I said, my father never brought us up like that.
That's why some of those guys thought you were a drug dealer.
No, they never knew about my dad.
Because they look at you and they
see. It's because of how we carried ourselves. Remember, sisi ni mavijana.
I mean, unaishi juu ya pub, but ukunywi.
I don't hang out with people, and I leave and I come back, and I don't talk with you. So it's just the way you carry yourself. You have your self-dignity. Then there's one thing very important. One of the key things that I've learned and really drives me and how we run the gallery is something called self-worth. The number one way people get manipulated is by erosion of their self-worth.
Low self-esteem.
Yes. So self-worth, like for example, you go on Instagram, you take a selfie, you're walking, you shoot a reel, a story, a morning walk, hashtag morning walk, you're going to the shop, and you post it. Then the computer or algorithm or whatever it is, the people behind it, they mix. On your feed, you know what is going to come? It'll come morning walks. But you think it's going to come another guy like you? It's not going to show another person like you taking a morning walk to the kiosk 1 kilometer down. It's going to show somebody, hashtag morning walk, Mount Kilimanjaro, halfway up, and this is a guy with one leg, half an arm, and no eye, with a crutch, with a dog, going up Mount Kilimanjaro, hashtag morning walk. They're always going to bring somebody who has done something.
To make you feel like
you've done nothing.
You've not accomplished
Even
anything.
if you've gone Mount Everest or Mount Kilimanjaro, you didn't go with half a leg and one eye and with your pet dog. Then you click on this guy, see that he got to half an eye because he fell down the stairs. Oh, he was living in a cave in Amazon and a snake came and beat his eye and some ridiculous thing.
You're always being manipulated.
So at the end of the day, your hashtag morning walk stops being a triumph.
Becomes a source of pain.
It becomes a joke. It becomes a source of pain.
You do talks occasionally in this gallery.
We do a lot of talks.
And especially for the boy child. Is it part of based on your own growing up? Build,
because now, like remember I said, the Western mindset and Western way of doing things is to break things up. Then make you feel like you're very good because you specialize. I'm specializing here. But when you break things up, some things cannot function. So you cannot break art up. You cannot break because it is culture. That's why it's under the Department of Culture. In fact, art is it's a department under the Ministry for Youth and Sport and Social Services. So you cannot break it and say, I'm just a painter. I'm just a sculpture, I'm just a this. Because, okay, what are you painting? You're either going to go to Instagram or Pinterest or what and look for a picture you like and redraw it. So you're just a human copier, you're photocopying that picture. Or you're going to draw, like I can do something, say, from my life. If I have the courage, let me do something about when I was, nimeshuka kwa ile gari pale kwa jam, Mudhurwa jam ninatembea nimejam kwa jam.
Bado ulikuwa naishi hapo Gado.
Ama kwa Gando huko and you know,
a lived experience.
So
or your own
that's
creativity
what you
and imagination.
You can put that out in whichever ways, in an abstract form, in pictorial form, in music form, in a poem, in a movie, in a short story, in anything. So that's what I'm saying. You cannot disconnect the art from your life, from the life of other people. But when you start disconnecting it, because you're just, when ng'ombe tu kamuliwe, utoe tu picha fulani, draw a certain thing, it's taken to a certain place. Draw a certain kind of stuff. This is primitive art from East Africa. Draw, I don't know what.
So your purpose is to interest these young people in finding themselves.
To connect. I never like to use the word finding themselves because, by the way, you said finding yourself. Now, the center we started, it's called the Lighthouse. Lighthouse, and the logo, which I did, was a lighthouse in a rock with a stormy sea. It was, the thing was find your way. It was a place to let people find the direction they are going. So I'd never say finding yourself, because finding yourself is like ulipotea.
Find your way then.
It's like finding your way. Because again, a lot of this vocabulary is from the West.
No, they are subtle. Yeah.
So it's a very subtle thing. It's like kumbe nilikuwa nimepotea. No, hujapotea. You are never.
There's a book I read called The Alchemist that made it very clear.
Yes.
It's about omens. I don't know if you've read.
Yeah, I've read.
Yeah,
I've
about
read Alchemist.
Recognizing moments, omens, and the journey of life it's never straight. They're always moving, How are you bringing up your boys? Are they experiencing differently from the way you experience your upset?
I'm always there with them. When now, like I brought up the other one, when the mom took off, so imekuwa mimi na yeye, and then when I married, My wife, Lesoi, is someone, one in a million, I can say.
It's something, I know Lesoi is at least her and her passion.
Yeah.
And she makes clothes for herself.
She taught
So
herself.
she's taken your mom's talent.
She makes clothes. She cooks food. She's a housemaker. She does all the housework. We've never really had a maid.
When does she do that? She's a policy hack.
She
in the NGO world. When does she ever find time to do all?
She does all that. She does all that. She makes the. So when she was working, she said working. No, her work takes more time, more hours, because she was working for somebody. Me, I've never been employed. I'm self-employed. So you have to decide. So who's going to spend more time with the children? Now I had already been with this the first boy. So in the second boy, she had to go back to work. I think he was 6 months old. So ndio nikabaki naye. So I had to put. You asked me about the art. So I actually put my stuff I was doing on the back burner. So I focus on bringing them up. So the second boy, the third boy, and the fourth one, mi ndio nimekaa na.
Kuna kitu Dr. Reverend Joya calls this, he refers to himself as a house husband.
Yes, people have called me that. They have never understood what they meant by it. Because to me, I thought, isn't it obvious? You
share the responsibility.
I mean, that's why there are two of you.
Yeah.
If she's going to work, her work is more stable than mine. Okay, let her go to work. And then we've always been doing stuff. Now, like the other day, I went home and I came here from the gallery. Actually, when we had one of these sessions, I went home and I found they had made chapos and stew.
The boys?
Yeah, the boys had made. On their own.
Because you've apart from them. The 27-year-old, how old are
27, 14, then what? 27, 14, 12, and 10. There's a bit of a gap. So the youngsters.
Do you have any artists among them?
They all draw very well.
And you don't discourage them?
I don't discourage them, and they draw and they make things. They're always making things. They showed me some broken toys. They had made them, motorized them. So they are learning electronics. So I teach them by presenting challenges to them. Me, I learn by having a challenge. So when I have a challenge or I have a task to do, then I learn it. I can learn it in 15 minutes.
Them, they're growing up in an age where they have smartphones, computers are in abundance. We have robotics and AI. How are you addressing?
First, for me, I even had a talk here where I was talking about last month, staying sane in a machine world. So you have to realize we had industrial revolutions in Europe. We had agrarian revolution, which agrarian made farmers not have to do so much manual labor. It was mechanized. Industrial you didn't have to make your own shoes. Some guy would cut leather and make shoes for everybody. So it would free you to do other things. So people became urbanized, especially in Europe. Then you had digital revolution. If this stopped you going out to dig yourself, industrial stopped you having to make your own shoes. And what did digital revolution bring? Computer revolution made you don't have to think.
You don't have to think.
Yeah, because a computer will do it for you. Now, if you don't have to think
or memorize or
already, it means a lot of thinking. You don't have to do it. You can if you wish, but it means you're already hampered as a human being. And if you allow the computer to do so many things for you, essentially you start dying as a person, and a lot of issues come. So for my boys and even for myself, first, if you put your phone on the table, you leave your phone, any device, they will never take it. First, it's not theirs. They will never ask you for their phone. If they ask you, they'll ask you, you need to see about a certain thing, probably football. Which games are they like football, they love football. Which matches are being played, or we want to see the highlights. Then they'll go on it, they'll look it up, and they'll finish and they'll put it back.
They're not caught up in
they don't. In fact, a lot of things, they never. And they never see me endlessly scrolling.
Are they on TikTok?
No, they're not on any of those things. And neither am I. So, and then I show them a lot of documentaries. I play a lot of things. You see, children learn by being in the same environment. So, for example, yesterday, so he was playing, it's called Joshua Maponga, the guy from Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
So usually puts those podcasts and she puts them on the loud, so she's listening as she works. So definitely they hear. And they come and they ask, what is this guy talking about? Why is he saying these people did this? Oh, because who is Lumumba? Say, oh, Lumumba, here is Lumumba. Then they go study in the book. They read about Lumumba. So they know Lumumba. They know Amilcar Cabral, which is funny. A lot of people don't even know those days.
Yeah, I came to learn about those things quite late in life, actually.
Me, I had read
so
them
I'm very happy that
they know that. In fact, now they ask me what's happening in they see some clips. You know, when they scroll on for looking for football, they see the clips of the guy with the red hat, the guy who never removes his gloves. I don't know. What's he called? The guy from, is it Niger? The guy who overthrew the government. I forget his name.
Yeah, the
soldier with the red hat.
Burkina Faso.
The red hat, and I call him the guy never removes his gloves and his full combat gear.
Captain,
so they ask, who's this guy? What's he saying? Saying, oh, he overthrew the government. Why? Because this. Why is he talking about France? Because France did this. So I've told them the history of France.
That's the history they would not learn in school. Yeah.
They read about it. Now they ask me, so what is the next guy is doing? They had the other countries also had a coup. So I go put for them on the clip, the BBC clip or the whichever clip of the people talking. So they are very current on, it's called geopolitics. They are very current on geopolitics.
in African history.
In Africa. You start with Africa first. They're very current.
Why is it important for Africans to be current?
You have to know first. If you do not know, how will you know where you're standing if you don't even know how you reach there? For you even to know the next move. How will you even know your next move? You don't even know, why am I standing here? Why am I facing this direction? You don't even know why you're facing that direction. So you need to know how you came to be where you are. Then you can now have an idea. Let me go against it. Let me go with it. Let me stay here. Let me go backwards.
Identity will help you find the...
Yes.
We talked about esteem.
I call it self-worth. So identity. Come back to my name. Remember I said about Maina. You asked me about Maina. And the second name is Maseeti. So all along I thought Maseeti is from the Kisi Maseeti because of the background from my grandfathers. But then I met 2 years back some elders from the clan who I never met. And they chastised me. You've never looked for us and we know about you. And do you know what your name means? I say Maina. They say, no, I'm sure you know what Maina means. Do you know what Maseeti means? I said, no. Maseeti is the one who seeks.
Who seeks?
Is a seeker. You look for. It means the seeker. The one who searches for.
And you've had a lifetime of searching up to today.
There am I. You see.
And
that's what your name means.
And this conversation can go on and on and on.
Yes, it can.
But we'll have to end it there because we started with your name and then you've come back to your name.
106.
Thank you so much for making time. Thank you so much for what you're doing with the Gallery, dignifying artists, Kenyan artists. That is actually exemplifies the spirit of Utu na Uzalendo. And thank you for allowing us your space to host the Utu na Uzalendo, the inaugural Utu na Uzalendo episodes. And we hope that there'll be a good reception for these podcasts, and that it will also amplify the gallery and your story. And we hope to do a few other episodes after this first lot. Asante sana Maina.
Karibu sana.
Maseeti. The seeker.
The seeker.
Yeah.